Purpose Inspired TV is under construction. During this process, we invite you to step into the journey. By joining our team, you have the chance to shape the very fabric of this channel with your creative ideas and skills. We believe that the true essence of innovation lies in collaboration, and together, we can create something truly extraordinary. We will provide content that ignites your passion, inspires personal growth, and encourages a positive impact on society. Our focus is on delivering shows that are entertaining, thought-provoking, educational, and uplifting. We want to hear your voice, your vision, and your recommendations for individuals you would love to see on our channel. We aim to create a channel that resonates deeply with viewers, challenging them to think bigger, dream bolder, and live a life of purpose. So, join us today, and together, we can make a difference, one viewer, one show, and one purpose at a time.
What's up, everybody? How is everybody doing? Pray everybody's well. I pray that you are enjoying your summer. Some of y'all may be going on vacation. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Thank you for your patience. Yes, I got to start off saying that. Thank you for your patience. I've been missing, haven't been here in a while. I don't know if some of you guys may know I've gone through some stuff, so it's been taking me a couple of weeks to take care of it, dealing with different things. That's what we'll be talking about tonight. So yeah, this is happy belated Juneteenth to everybody, and real soon, happy 4th of July to everybody here in the US of A. So we're going to take some time to celebrate both sides. So yeah, this is also men's health, mental health month. So it's going to tie into what we're going to be talking about tonight. But I just had to get back out here. Like I've been telling myself, you need to get back out there and go live. Just go ahead and get back on again. But it's kind of hard. You get off that bike, fall off the bike. It's hard to get back up again. So here I am. I'm getting back up. So again, I say thank you for your patience while I've been away. Yeah, just jump on into it. The reason why I've been gone. I just recently lost my mom. Yep, I lost my mom. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Going through that, the changes, there's a lot that goes on with losing your mom. So I just want to just go into it. Like, how do you deal with, coming from the point of view of you being a friend? You've been a friend and you're trying to support that person, your friend that lost someone, even your spouse that lost someone, close friend, co-worker, church member, anybody. Just a few little tips on how to deal with them as they go through that situation. But before I'm sorry, looked at my notes. There's a couple ways. I'm jumping to another area. A couple ways that even someone loses someone. I just wrote down 3. One way you can lose somebody, you lose somebody suddenly. You know, like a car accident, a tragic accident, plane crash. Thank God plane crashes don't happen that often. But, just suddenly heart attack, stroke, all those types of things just happen suddenly. and you got to deal with it right away. And then there are some other ones, like the loved ones, you lose them gradually over a period of time. And one that's really that's going rapid, I believe, in a lot of the areas that we work in and know about. I host the prayer line at our church, so there's a lot of people calling in for prayer for this evil monster called cancer. But we still have, God has power over cancer, but there's a lot of people are fighting cancer, and that's one of those slow things. So there you can beat cancer, but a lot of people are losing the battle of cancer. So that's that slow process. I have a stepmom that went through that process of fighting cancer. I just went to a service last week where a friend of mine, her sister, just lost a battle of cancer. But it's just like a lot of people battling that fight with cancer. So you got that person that's dealing with cancer, and you have their loved ones that's in there with them in that fight with them. So that's that long process. And then you have that unexpected. So that's what we dealt with, unexpected. See, my mom back in 2017, she had developed a blood clot up in, she was living in Maryland. And that was a gradual thing. And when she was going through it, we thought that we was going to lose her. So that was one of those graduals. So we had time to prepare. We were still praying. We was in the battle of praying, and the praying. But then, the doctor saying we don't think she's going to make it. So we had some time to start getting prepared. But thank God, God answered the prayers, and she regained her health. I mean, my mom, she was skin and bones. It was, when I flew up there to see her, I think I flew up there a couple of times, but when I flew up there to see her the first time, I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I could barely recognize that was my mom. So when I had to fly back, I'm like, my mom don't have long. I didn't think she was going to make it from the time I went from leaving the hospital and going to get on the airplane. I was all nervous until the plane finally landed. I think they was going through trying to remove, I think, the feeding tube or something like that. And my sister said it was a struggle. And it was just a stressful situation. But like I said, she got her strength back. She ended up moving back to Florida. We went on a cruise, and on that cruise she was, we had to push her around in a wheelchair. And she didn't have a lot of strength. And then she was like, well, less than 100 pounds. I can remember one time she called me like, Joe, I finally got up to 100 pounds again. And she was so excited about getting her weight back. So over the next 6, close to 7 years, she moved back here. She regained her health, regained her weight, and was active, doing a lot of things. Was helping raise sometimes her grandchild and her great-grandchild. So children keep going. No matter what your age is, they get you to get you re-energized. So that's what she was like. Like I said, when she moved back here, we was able to spend more time with her. Like I said, she spent time with the grandkids. I hope it's loud enough. We got the mic way over here. But yeah. She came back. But so I'm going back another direction. So how do you help your friend? How do you help your loved ones that may be going through that grief? One thing that I think of, one thing that I think of about when I was going through this, it is when people say, I know how you feel. I stopped myself from saying that years ago. When people would say they lost a loved one, they lost a parent, they lost somebody, and you're quick to say, because you want them to feel better, you might say, I know how you feel. But if you haven't gone through that, don't say it. Don't even don't say it. So then they may think about when have that happened to you, and if it happened, if you still have your parents, don't say it to someone that lost their parents or grandparents. If you still have your grandparents, don't tell somebody, yeah, I know how it feels to lose grandparents or a child. I tell you that's something else too. I went through a loss. I'm talking about different losses I've gone through. I think I have maybe 3. I've gone through a lot of different losses. I think I consider 3 different losses. I think by going through divorce, I'm happily married now. I'm happy to be married, but I was married and I went through a divorce, and like people say, it feels like a death. Yes, it feels like a death going through that matter. Whether you like the person or not, I was relieved to get out the marriage. I was under so much stress, and there's a lot of craziness going on. But just that idea, you make that choice to marry somebody, and when you make that choice, yes, you make that choice for life. And I didn't want to go against that vow. I believe, as far as I took my vow seriously. That was to God. I made that vow to God. And then when everything was falling apart and I couldn't keep it together, I felt I was letting God down. And so that was painful to go through that. But then it was at the same time it was painful trying to stay somewhere where I shouldn't have been. Put it that way. I think a lot of people go through that. I'm not an advocate for a divorce. No way, no how, no shape or form. I believe if you get married, you should try everything that you in your power to make it help it work. But if you are in a relationship where you're not married, you're going through some abuse, get your tail out of there. It hurts just as bad, but you're not bound by that covenant. You're not bound by that contract of marriage. So if you're single and you know that you're someone you shouldn't be, get up out of there. And I'm support you. I will support you, help you get up out of there. But if you're married, I'm on the other side. I do everything I can to help you stay married. Okay, and the third, well, that was the first. I guess I feel like it might be a tie between these two, like losing my mom. But my other one, I lost a son right after birth. So I was married to that person that I was married to, and she was pregnant. I think she was. It's been years. I mean, it's going home 30 years ago. I believe she was on the virus. Between 8 and 10 months, something like that. And when I was on the base, I was in the military. I was in the Navy, so I was on the base, and like I said, she had a couple of months left to go. And I remember trying to get a part-time job. So I hadn't even been in the Navy, not even 2 years. So my pay, my money was tight. Had an apartment in San Diego, had a car, and that was when we had to collect calls and pay for long distance, all that kind of stuff. So that little paycheck that I had didn't go too far. So now we were just barely making ends meet with just the two of us. And yes, a lot of people in the military are on food stamps. They're on some might be on welfare, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it's something to pay. A lot of people that they don't make enough pay to support their family. That's sad to say, but that's true. So with my pay, I was struggling. So I was paycheck to paycheck, barely making it with what I had and trying to support the two of us. And then here come a baby. I'm like, where is this baby money going to come from? And I'm from North Carolina. We both were from North Carolina, so we didn't have any family or any kind of support like that over in California. So I'm like, how in the world I'm going to do this thing? So I was looking for a part-time job. I didn't even plan on talking about this, but one of the jobs I went for, I remember that was near SeaWorld. Yeah, it was SeaWorld. So I was just a quick side story. So I used to play the band. I was in the band when I was in high school. And then all through high school, I was in band. We went to, we marched in the Rose Bowl Parade. We marched in the London New Year's Parade. We was invited to come to Australia, but we didn't make that trip. We was invited to Carnegie Hall. So we was a pretty good band, and we won a lot of awards. We won national championship one year. We won a lot of regions. So anyway, the band won a lot of awards when I was in the band. So when I got out in boot camp, there's a band. So you can either march with the guns, or you can do different jobs. And there was a band, and I just had to get in the band. I got this funny story. How I had to pass a swim test to be able to get in the band. But anyway, I was in a band, played the drum. I was a lead drummer during our graduation. But anyway, so I got out. So then eventually about a year later, I came back, and I was married, had an apartment and all that. So I'm looking for a part-time job, and I saw in the paper that SeaWorld was hiring people for their band. It was different jobs, and it was a drum line that they was trying to form. Like people around here in Jacksonville, they know that, like the D line, the drum line for the Jaguars. So that's kind of like what it was. They had this drum line, and I went, yeah, it's been a year since I've been in high school. I'm gonna get this job here. So I walk in there, and it reminds me of this. What is that? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, when his mama went to do a dance tryout. I don't know if y'all remember that scene. There was all these young people and all these young girls in there dancing, and she went in there and showed out, and was out of breath and left. But I didn't have that experience. I went in there. I was hearing these guys, like some of these guys were still in high school, but they were still fresh. It's been a year, going on 2 years since I've played. That I walk in there, and I remember different things that I did when I was in high school. And I walk in there, yeah, I'm feeling all good. And then I'm watching these other guys that's still in high school. They just blew me out the water. Yeah, I just slid on out the back. They didn't have to tell me that I didn't get the job. I knew I didn't get the job. But those young boys, they just tore me up. I'm like, I thought I was doing something. And after watching them. But anyway, so that's something, like I was saying, I was trying to get me a job to help take care of the baby. Like I said, months are going on. I can remember I used to have this joke about, I used to thump her belly. Like people thump a watermelon to see if it's ripe. I used to thump her belly to see if the baby was ripe. So you see, I was getting on. I was happy about to be a father, and then I found out I was going to have a son, going to be Joe Jr. So that's the point I was at in my life. All excited, the baby's coming. I was stressed out, but still, hey, if so many people have babies that were more broke than I was, if they make it, I should be able to make it too. So I wasn't going to worry about it. So, life's going to go on. But one day when I was on watch, it was an overnight watch. It was like 3 in the morning, 4 to 8 or something. Yeah, 4 to 8, I think. But anyway, so I'm watching the parking lot. And then when my time was up, I was supposed to get off watch and then go to school, go to class. But when I got off, it was changing out watch or whatever. That's when they told me that they've been calling the base trying to reach me. Said my wife was in labor. So I'm in labor. I'm like, they're not supposed to be due right now. So they let me off. I rushed out to the hospital, and this is not what I plan on talking about tonight, but it's about grief, how to deal with grief. So got to the hospital. My wife at the time was in the bed. I think she was asleep, But I mean, walking in the room, I see an incubator sitting there with no baby in it. I see blood drops on the floor. And so I'm still looking like, okay, she's in bed, asleep. Incubator wasn't touched, blood's on the floor. And then my neighbor, Miss Emma, wish I could contact Miss Emma. I ain't seen her in years. But Miss Emma, the one that helped her get to the hospital, she told me to come with her into the bathroom in the hospital room. So she pulled me in there, and I'm still like, what's going on? Where the baby at? And then she was like, the baby didn't make it. Like, okay, like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, she told me the story how my wife at the time was going in the labor, and she ran upstairs to tell my neighbor, so they jumped in the car to take her, to have the baby. The brakes gave out on that car, and they couldn't. So somehow they turned around, took the car back home, called 911. 911 took her to the military hospital in Miramar, well, not Miramar, but in San Diego. And she said that, again, I had no plans on telling this story. She said that she was going into labor, but when she got there, they would say it was a false alarm. She's not going into labor. She can go home. So now she's leaving the hospital, ready to go home, trying to, now she got to find her way home. And she said a nurse came running behind her down the hallway and found her and said, we were wrong. You are going into labor. So they grabbed her and took her back and put her, gave her a bed, put her back in bed, and she delivered the baby. And according to Miss Emma, they handed her the baby, and she held the baby until the baby died. That's really the most of the information I have. So I'm not, upset, but it's still like still some mysteries going on with that story. But the hospital was saying, that the baby was premature, and pretty much, I guess they said, well, nothing they can do. But nowadays, I see so many premature babies that they help and they survive. And I have a grandson. But anyway, I still know a lot of people that was born prematurely, and they helped. But for her to deliver the baby, and they just hand her the baby, and she held the baby, I can't remember how long, let's say 30 minutes to an hour until the baby passed away. And then put in an incubator, but they put him in the incubator and everything. So I'm like, people's like, did you sue? Did you try to sue? Like, I was in the military. At the time, as far as I know, I couldn't sue. It's like, this is what it is. This is what you got. So I went through that situation, and that's undescribable painful. So again, so people who haven't lost a child, so I lost a child at birth. So that was painful, of that anticipation of that child coming, and that spending your life, that you got a son coming, that excitement, it was all taken away. So that's a certain pain that I endured. But then if someone else loses a son, I got a friend that just lost his son in a mysterious ways over in Pensacola area. But that's a different experience for how he was able to help raise this child. So he spent years with this child, developing a stronger bond with this child, and then his child to be found. I don't know what words you can use on Facebook. He was found killed. So I know that's a different pain. We still lost a son, but I know that's a different type of pain. So I can't go to him and say, I understand what you're going through. Yeah, I had lost a son, but I didn't spend years developing a relationship and have that relationship taken away and just gone. So yeah, that's a different type of pain. So and the same thing I was talking about earlier, how I got siblings with my dad. not trying to say bad mouth your dad, but my dad had 4 baby mamas. So I'm the oldest. So my mom was the oldest. Then I got the next in line. I got 2 brothers, Walter Jr. and Leighton. They lost their mother when they was young. When we were young, in a bad car accident. So that was one of those sudden situations where they lost a mom, almost lost a sister. So that was years ago. And then I have my sister Zenaida. I was close to her mom, and her mom passed away during COVID. We wasn't even able to go to her service, so that was painful. And she was good friends with my mom, so I remember bringing my sister's mom down to Florida to spend time with my mom. Cause they, all this craziness a lot of people go through when they're young. When they get old, man, you can squash that. Ain't no need for that. So my mom, she was a peacekeeper. She was able to get peace and become friends with just about anybody. And then there's my sister Brianna. She had a sister Crystal and Brian. I was real good and tight with Miss Brenda Bass. We spent some time together to talk a lot, so we was tight. Not real tight, but when she passed away, it hurt. That's what I mean. It's not like I was distant and didn't have any kind of connections with her. It hurt when my siblings' mothers passed away. But this time, it was my turn. So my sisters through my mom was Michelle, Crystal, and Corey. So we just lost our mom. So now I can say to my brothers and to my sisters, I know how I feel to lose a mother. So yeah, I know. So in the past, I couldn't say that. When I went to, especially what do I call her? I say Miss Brenda. But when I went to her service, they're like, yeah, that's my stepmom. That hurt. Going to that service and then seeing my sister hurt the way she was hurt, and then nothing that you can do about it. And now this situation, you lost your mom, nothing you can do about it. You can pray. We prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. I had all sorts of people praying, and I'm like on the inside of my body, like trying to what can I do? I'm like trying like I could get some magical powers that could come up out of me, and you praying to God, but then you still like, can I? I'm trying to will her health, trying to will her health back, and it's put a strain on you. And I can remember that our last day, I was in there with my nephew. The first day wouldn't let one in the room for a couple of days, but then when they said it was it's time to say goodbyes, that's when they let my nephew in. He's what is he, 4 now? And he said he wants some power. He wants some power in his hands to lay on grandma. And I kept saying, what power are you talking about? So that was one time. So then the next time I came out there with him, I don't know, it could have been the same day. But I think I went out there, I took some anointing oil with me. And so I took some anointing oil, and he kept saying some power in his hands. So I'm thinking, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I anointed my mom. So I put oil in his hands, so he was able to anoint her. And he kept on saying he got the power in his hand, and so he, we let him lift him up, put his hands on my mom's forehead, did it a couple times, and then we left. But that was when they didn't get into that story yet. They rushed us out. We came out there early, 3 o'clock in the morning that morning. So that's when he did that. And then they called us out there again that evening. They said, it's time to say goodbye. And he was saying again, I need some power in my hand. I need some power in my hand. Where's that? Where's that what you put in my hand? I said the oil, so I had to, get some oil and let him lay hands on, my mom again. So I don't know if that's what he was talking about. I don't know if he was talking about a superhero or something, but he still felt like there was some power in his hands. So we were teaching him about people laying on the hands for healing. So that just touched me. He wanted to put his hands on his grandmother. So anyway, that was just like that story. I mean, I know I'm bouncing back and forth between stories, but yeah, that time of loss, like I said, when I lost my son and now lost my mother. So as we have families and friends, how do we deal with that? How do we help them during this time? So number one, if you haven't gone through that loss with them, don't say, I know how you feel. You can tell them something that you felt, but most of the time, just leave it to them. Now, some people, sometimes they try to one up you. I lost my son. Well, I lost two sons. I lost my mama. Well, I lost my mom and my dad. Don't one up them. Later on, you can tell your story about your loss, but let them have this. Let them have it. Don't try to one up them. And don't tell them, if you haven't experienced that loss, don't say you know how to feel. Just let it be. Let them say it. Another one, I don't know if this is number 2. I shouldn't even remember. I'm just throwing them out there. Number 2, you may not know what to say, but reach out anyway. You may not know what to say, but reach out anyway. It helps. Even just that phone call, text message. Yeah, I was getting so many text messages. It was hard to even keep up with them. Then when people would call, it would hurt to talk to them, but at the same time, it made me feel better to be able to tell that story. I got this person, I got this relative. I kind of expected more relatives to call, but either here or there. But you expect relatives to call, friends, people that care about you. You expect them to call, and it was a relief to be able to tell that story. It's like I wasn't crying, but I felt like me telling the story of my mom, telling what happened, and she fought a good fight. Tell how strong my mom was. That was able to help me when they called. So yeah, from time to time I did cry, but it helped me to be able to tell it. So it helped me to have this person that was concerned enough to call me and concerned enough to listen. So that helped. And again, if you don't know what to say, you can say nothing. I can remember, this is not about a loss, but it was about I remember hearing a story about this man that was that had to go through some rehab, and he went through probably a couple of times. But anyway, I'm going to another story. But he went through some rehab, and he was all alone. He had abused his wife and did all sorts of things to her and hurt his family. He just did all sorts of destruction in his family. So now he's in this rehab, and there's one time he's supposed to be, I think, graduating or something. Nobody showed up. No family member, nobody showed up. And then he kept on pushing forward, and then he was going to graduate again. He figured nobody was going to show up. His wife showed up. Or it might have been ex-wife, I'm not sure. But the last person in the world that he thought would show up is the one that showed up. And then they called, and she called him. He didn't know what to say to her. She didn't know what to say to him. They just was on the phone, listening to each other breathe. And that broke him. That whatever was going on inside of him broke him with no words. So she probably didn't have a clue what to say to him, but she just felt that she had to call him. So she called him, and it helped change him. With no words, no fussing, no screaming, nothing. It just broke him. So again, sometimes if someone's going through something, you don't know what to say, call them anyway. So what we got? I got number 3, offer up help. it's best to find something. This is just my twist on it. There was a lot of people offering help, and a lot of times I've seen people who have lost loved ones, and I say, anything you need me to do, I'll do it. I imagine a whole lot of people, anything you need me to do, I'll do it. That gets kind of overwhelming. You don't know what to ask people to do. You just don't know. I most definitely didn't know. So the best people who helped me when I was going through it, I think helped my family, is when that person came with a suggestion on what they could do. You see what I'm saying? It's a difference between what do you need me to do, or I can do this service for you. I can do this and I can do that. And you just, most of the time, yes, thank you for doing that. And that helps the person out. So if you would like to help the person out, think of something that you're able to do and do it. And the other thing, over the years, I've been in church most of my life. And a lot of times, every time somebody loses a loved one, they pass cars around, to put money in there. And I always say, man, that person got plenty of money. Why they need? Well, they don't need no money. But I always put money in there. I question it, but I put money in there. And now, when I'm going through our situation, and I was like, I don't need nothing from nobody. I don't need nothing. But people put money in cars and stuff. But it was like bills coming from everywhere. Like the bill here, the bill there, and this needs to be paid, that needs to be paid, that needs to be paid, this needs to be paid. They even have some family members who wanted to make the trip. So even some of those funds were even to help give them something to help them with the trip, or help people with money. So it was like, I'm thinking, like in the past, a lot of people need money. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I see. So I'm just like thankful, it every bit helped. So even for people who put money in the envelope, no matter how much it is, so I'm gonna say right now, I thank you. And like I said, I've done it over the years. I'm gonna continue to, and even when I can, I'm gonna put even more in there, because I know, like I said, it's all sorts of unexpected expenses, traveling. It's something. I'm telling you, you won't believe it until you go through it. All sorts of stuff pop up, and then let's say you're straight. You don't need nothing from nobody. But that's probably another loved one that's in another family member or something, that you can take that money that people sold into you can sold into that person and help them along the way. Like I said, you got plenty of money to pay for your hotel and travel and your flight and everything. But if you got a cousin or somebody that they always struggle and stuff, you can take what people sold into you, sold into them, and that's still a blessing. So it's one. I'm a supporter of it. People keep on passing out cards and say, sign this and drop a couple dollars in there. I'm all for it. I'm with that. So I think it's a good thing. So, but the other takeaway is, if you have something to offer, and you have a skill to offer some kind of service, if you've seen people go through this before, go ahead and offer it up. And it's better to offer than to keep asking, what do you want? And then even with the money, a lot of people, got pride. They can't bring themselves to ask for anything that's monetary. But if you offer it, it's easier to say, can you give me $100 to pay for this food right here? Or we're going to pay for this food right here. Okay, thank you. They're not going to say, will you pay for it? So, like, there's some people that will. There's a lot of people that not stuck up, not, I won't say pride might be too strong of a word, but yeah, it may, even some family members may not feel comfortable. Why did you go ask for that? It's easy to say they offered it, and some of the family members, it might, might have some people that they don't want to, feel like they're begging. But all right, I think y'all get the point. I'll leave that one alone. All right, going on number 4. You can ask questions, but let the person say as much as they want to say. You can, the main question, what happened to him? What happened? I remember with my mom, she goes to the senior center here, and one of her friends from the senior center asked me about information It's for her to tell the people at the center. And I was like, do you want me to come by there and talk to people? And she was like, yes, she was all excited. So I went to the center myself. It was kind of, it was still fresh. It was kind of hard. So she did some of the talking, but then the main question, what happened? And, I was able to tell them an overview of what happened. So, squash the rumors and different things like that, and kind of help them, kind of be at peace, kind of like, so they know, anyway, just help them with their process of where they're going through a process and the loss of their friend. So go ahead, you can ask the questions, but if the person don't want to answer the question, or it may be too private, or if it's going too deep, back off of it. Don't pry too much. But you can ask questions. That's letting them know that you're concerned. And number 5, listen. Let them talk about the person. Let them remember. So I believe that helped me. Like I said, when people will call me, it depends on what era in life that they knew her. Like they knew her from Jacksonville, they knew her from North Carolina, they knew her from up north, New Jersey, the Maryland area. So they would probably have a story, and I could, tell them a story about her in that area that relates to that person. So I was, be able to tell the story, and I would be able to listen to them tell the story. So we're basically helping each other heal. But yeah, let the person talk, listen to them. Number 6, attend the services. When I went to my mom, we had 2 services. I had the homegoing service was in North Carolina, and thankfully I had some people here that wanted to travel. And we did have people travel from around the country to come there. But then the following week, we had a memorial service here at our ministry, Legacy Ministries, here in Jacksonville. But in North Carolina, it was, a lot of times a family reunion. It's like a family reunion. So there was a lot of people who was trying to hug me and get to me and speak to me, and I wasn't able to get to everybody. But to look off in the crowd, and sometimes you'd be able to wave, and just to see just a glimpse of some like classmates, see a glimpse of your family members that you hadn't seen in years, just to see their face and just walking by, that meant a whole lot. Even if I didn't even get to speak, didn't get to shake your hand, didn't get to hug you, just to be able to see them in the crowd meant a whole lot. So if you're able to go to the service, I suggest go to the service. Some people they don't like services, but it's not really even about you. It's honoring the person who passed away, but it's more than that. It's for the living. You are supporting the living. You are supporting that loved one, and by your presence being there, is giving that person, that loved one, that probably the entire family, you're giving them some energy to help them fight through this. Fight through the pain. It's like, yeah, just show up. You got to do nothing. You don't have to participate. You don't have to get up and get on the microphone and say nothing. Just be there. That's it. Just be there. If there is this opportunity to give them a hug and give them a word of encouragement, say you're praying for them or something, you can do that. But show up. That's the first, the biggest thing is showing up. We got now number 7. Allow the person time to grieve. There is no time limit on grieving. Let the person grieve in a safe manner. So we're talking about from a spouse. Like I said, let's say your spouse lost someone close to them. You got to give them time to grieve. There's no set rule. There's no book on how grieving is done. It's just not. So you can't say that person is grieving, should be finished grieving by now, something like that. I got someone that's been grieving about that lost their mom. It's probably 30 years. They still grieving though. So there's no time limit. But then at the same time, if the person, it looks like they're not able to grieve or not grieving, if you're able, if you love them and you know that person, you can try to help them. Help. I don't even know how to say it really, but kind of help them and let them know that they are free to grieve. I think that's what it is. Let them know that they are free to grieve, free to let it out. And I got to say, especially us men, that we feel like we don't supposed to cry. We don't supposed to let it out. Crying is a sign of weakness. So it's not women. We were kind of like taught that. It's like it's kind of ingrained in us. We feel like it's we don't want to show any kind of weakness. So crying is the ultimate sign of weakness. So if you taught all your life, don't show weakness, and here's the ultimate sign of weakness, it's hard to find find that balance. So it's like we're taught to fight tears. You're supposed to be tough. You're supposed to be hard. You're supposed to be able to handle. So you're fighting that. So you're going through this pain, and especially if you haven't been able to do it. Some people who know how to cry, I think crying is like a relief valve, and I believe women have. I don't want to male chauvinistic, but I believe women have a better control over their relief valve by being able to cry. Children, babies and children, yeah, they cry at the drop of a dime. And then we teach the boys, stop crying. You don't need to cry about that. You don't need to cry about that. So we cut off that crying relief, that crying relief valve. But you might have to be, some men might have to be taught how to turn that valve and let it out and let that grief out. So if you're able to, and you're in this situation, you see the person like, look like they are not grieving. They're taking it hard, and they are taking it in, and it's eating them up from the inside out. And if they look like they need some help, let the person or help the person get to the help. A lot of organizations have grief counselors. A lot of it is free. So I got a friend of mine from church. The wife lost her father, so the husband and the wife are going to grief counseling together. And I didn't even thought about that. I thought, y'all grown, y'all old, y'all should be tough. That's stereotypical of me. So I'm thinking grown people, you're supposed to be grown. You don't supposed to feel pain. You don't supposed to go through that. See, I got this false image in my mind. So that put me like, grief counsel. I haven't been, but I've even considered checking out, seeing what kind of grief counseling, just to check it out. I say the truth, I feel like I don't need it, but a lot of people say they don't need stuff, and they do. So I'm like, I don't think I need it, but I still did consider it when I finished talking to my friends about it. Okay, so I think those are my 7 things about helping the people, by you being on the outside, trying to help somebody deal with someone going through grief. I see some comments, but I'm gonna see if I can come back in. But if anybody want to jump in a few minutes, y'all can jump in on the call, and I can bring y'all video up. But I'm gonna keep on going to get this out the way. I've talked about the different losses I've gone through. I didn't get this page. So some might say, what happened to my mom? What's the story? So I'm not going to go to deep details, but I'm going to give a little short timeline. Let me see. So let's go back. This is only, is it 2 months? It's fresh. That's bad. I need to look at the dates. But let's say, anyway, 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago. Before that, my mom was heavily getting out. We went to the beach to celebrate my niece's birthday. She turned a double digits, 10. So we enjoyed that time. We celebrated her birthday. And then the following week, I didn't hang out. I went and saw her. But anyway, that Sunday, she said she had some chest pain. So she was, and she wanted to, I guess it hurt bad enough to warrant calling 911. So they called 911. The ambulance showed up. So she get in the car, met the get in the ambulance, and I don't try to be gross or anything, but she said as my mom said, she threw up in the ambulance, and she said she felt better after she threw up. So that led us to think that it was something food related. So they still took her to the hospital, went to the emergency room. So everybody rushed out to the hospital. So we all get out there, and so they're doing checks and stuff on her. So a few of us go out there at a time to go see her. And I remember when it was my turn, I went back there and talking to her. She had her clothes at the foot of the bed. She was like, "I'm going to get dressed, y'all can take me home." Like, we thought she was going to go home. And she said the doctor said that everything's checking out fine. So and when I was there, the doctor came back and he was like, everything's checking out fine, but because of your heart history, I believe because of what happened when she was in Maryland, he said they wanted to really get a heart doctor to check her out the next day. Would she mind staying overnight and letting them check it out? He said it might not be anything, but let them check it out. But she, you can go home if you want to, but we prefer that you stay overnight. So with the family, we talked like, let's go ahead and stay overnight, and we'll come get you tomorrow. One of us pick her up and take her back home. That was the plan. So we left her there. Everybody left. Everybody went to work. Next day we go back out there to see her, thinking we're gonna take her home. At first during the day, she texted and said something about she might need a stent. So we thought, okay, they can just put a stent in like they did last time, and she'll be going home. It's like so that's like a put it in real quick. You get to go home the same day, if I'm not mistaken. So the doctors mentioned the stent, but then they said they wanted to go inside her heart. So they did the process of sending the cameras through her veins. So they sent the cameras in and then told her they found 3 blocked arteries, and she wasn't going to go home until she had a triple heart bypass surgery. So it went from put your jeans back on so you can go home to you can't go home until you have a triple heart bypass. So none of us even knew what that was. So we started looking it up. Found 3 blocked arteries. So they're saying that those arteries were no more of use. If she would have went back home, she could have had a massive heart attack at any moment. And then she kept saying she feel fine, because she was walking around and everything. She kept saying she feel fine. But he's like, no, if you go home, you're not going to last long. So we knew how serious it was. And I know she was asking and praying for any other way that we can take care of this without the triple heart bypass. And they was like, that it was nothing else that they could do. So they told us the process that they had to go get 3 veins from like her leg, other places in her body, and use those veins to bypass 3 bad veins. So she was in on Sunday, and she was in the hospital all week, and the procedure is supposed to have been happening on the following Monday morning. So we're out there, going out there almost every day. Sometimes, we were skipping days and stuff, but we, think it wasn't that major. So we, I don't want to say that, but we were spending as much time as we thought we could during that week. And then right before, she had an infection. So they said it's got to be the follow, another. They got to reschedule. So now, again, we're another week. We're going out there and visiting her, spending time with her, And that was, that was, I think, the week before Mother's Day. Yeah. So yeah, we celebrated my other sister's birthday, Shell's birthday. We went out to eat, and then we went back, and we all crammed into her hospital room and hung out there with my mom then. So again, we spent another week, and then I believe that next Sunday night looked like they wasn't going to prepare her. They looked like they waited too late to start getting her prepared. So she was still on blood thinners. And then I was still there late that Sunday night, getting ready to go home. And then they finally said they was going to start prepping her, like late Sunday night, prepping her for the surgery the next day. So they didn't really have a time. And then they told us it's going to be probably like 4 or 5 hours. So let me get a drink. Okay, so yeah, they prepped her, and so I think we went to work. I'm not Shell. I think Shell was off. I went to work. When I got off work, I went out there, and it was, like I said, ended up being more than a 7-hour process. The doctor came and he told us that it was done, but it was hard. She had small veins, and I have a hard time when I get ready to go get blood. They can't find my vein. They got to jab me and everything. Okay, so they got it done, but they had a hard time stopping her bleeding. So I believe that was a part of the blood thinner. So when he finished the surgery, trying to stop the bleeding, he had a hard time stopping the bleeding. So it was a balance. But she had like I said, when she was in Maryland, she had blood clots, and that's what put her in the hospital in the first place. So now they thought that they were trying to prevent her from having blood clots this time around. So they had her on blood thinners. So it's just Joe. I believe the blood thinners was what was causing her, having them a hard time when they sewed her up, a hard time stopping the bleeding. So they didn't sew her up all the way because of the bleeding. So that whole week we was waiting for her to recover more and for her heart to heal up enough for them to sew her up. So I think that was on Monday. So we're going out there every day, staying out there. I had me and my sisters, how many hours upon hours that they spent out there. So I think that was Thursday when he said, okay, I'm going to go in. If everything goes well, it's going to be real quick. If it's going to take us a while, if we run into issues. He left, I think 30, 45 minutes later, he was back. He said everything, he sorted her up successfully. All right, thank you, Lord. So now we just wait. She needs to wake up. She needs to get up. So most heart, when these heart surgeries, you're supposed to get up right away. Some people get up the very next day. They want you up walking. But she was not coming back from the whatever medicine they had her on. I'm not going to too detailed. I don't even know all the details. But most of it, she was not waking up. So that was our prayer. I was asking people to pray that she wakes up, that she can pull through and go ahead and wake up, and so she can stand up and start walking. But she never looked like she could never pull through. We would go there and you could see like she was trying to open her eyes up some, but she never did all the way. So I'm like, that was my prayer. Please wake up. And I would shake her hand, not like just a little bit, shaking her hand and like squeezing her hand. Mom, wake up. Just asking her to wake up. But then there was I felt like a roller coaster. What they was trying to do, like certain body part would be failing, and they would do something to bring that back in line, and that was called something else to go out of line. So then you go, they would adjust this to try to adjust that, then they would knock something else out of line. So I could see them trying to get everything balanced and stable. But so it was like that. So another week, she's not waking up. But then I remember on that Thursday, the following Thursday after they sewed her up, I went to go see her before I left, and it looked like she was opening her eyes up even more. I'm like, that's it. Tomorrow, she is going to wake up. That's the day. So I left happy. I'm like, that's it, because that like she's woken up even more. She's moving more. Yes, tomorrow's going to be the day. But then that overnight, 3 o'clock that morning, we get a call. Go to the hospital right now. So we rush out there, and they said they found a blood clot. Our enemy, the blood clot. I forgot, back up a little bit. Her kidneys were starting to fail, so they had to put on dialysis. So now we're trying to keep the kidneys going, trying to balance everything, then a blood clot. So it's like all these different things coming from different directions. So that day, anyway, that morning, so we're praying against that blood clot. I got so many people praying, pray against this blood clot. Because they were saying that blood clot, if it moves, she was going to die from the blood clot. So we just praying and praying and praying. And so we spent a couple hours there, and it looked like she was stable. So I went to, my sisters didn't, but I went to work. And so I'm gonna go ahead and work a half a day and get everything straight at work, then we'll come back. So that's what I did. So meantime, we're praying against this blood clot, and they sent her. She had so much stuff hooked up on, they couldn't take her to a CAT scan. So what they did, they sent a man with like this mobile scan. So the doctor told him scan everywhere in her body. If there's a blood clot, there might be another one. So they supposed to went all over the whole body. So I waited out there for an hour and a half. I know at least more than an hour and a half. This guy searched her body for blood clots, and that's when I left. Later on, when the doctor got there, couldn't find any blood clots. So I'm just praising God. That big blood clot that the doctor said overnight, either, I can't say. Did he mess up? Seemed like he's a doctor, an experienced doctor. I don't think he messed up. It was a blood clot there. But for some reason, that blood clot was not found, and no other blood clots were found. So we're praising God. The blood clot it's gone. So we won't have to worry about the blood clot. So I can remember getting my stuff together. I'm getting my computer, getting my snacks. I was planning on being out there at the hospital for the long haul that night. So I got all my stuff ready to go. Then I had to go pick my niece up. Then my sister called again and said, get to the hospital right away. She don't have but a few minutes. I'm like, oh my goodness, what happens? Like, like this is a roller coaster riding. So I go and get my niece, and it's funny. I was saying it was sad, but funny where I pull up and I'm trying to tell her my niece's name, and I couldn't even talk. And I think that was my first time picking her. Oh no, yeah, that's my first time picking her up like that. So they don't know me from nowhere. So yeah, I'm coming, and I don't, anyway, I'm trying to say my niece's name. I'm crying, trying to get it out. And then I just lost my mom, like just right now, That's what my sister said, but we just lost her. So I can't talk. So anyway, I would go up there, and I'm trying to get myself together before my niece got in the car. So I had pulled myself together. She got in the car, and she was talking about school and everything, because that was frightening, getting out of school. And so now I'm trying to speed, get to the hospital, but I didn't want to tell her right then. So like I said, I straightened my face up and everything. So I'm driving, and she asked me this question. She said, "Is Grandma's sickness worse now, or was it when she was in Maryland?" And I would have said Maryland. Maryland was bad. But I'm thinking to myself, my mom just passed away. So it's got to be worse now. But I didn't have an answer for her. So we rushed to the hospital, and I'm telling her to come on. She don't know why I'm rushing, and I left everything in the car. I'm like, let's just go. So we ran in, and then on the way in the elevator, I pulled my phone out and handed my niece the phone. But I'm gonna pause. My niece, like I said, just turned 10, but she was roommates with my mom. They slept in the same bed, so they was buddies. They was tight. Everybody had a different relationship with my mom. So that's a relationship that I didn't have. I'm her son. I'm her only son. So I got that only son relationship. But my niece was actually great niece. So that's great niece staying with great grandma. They had another special relationship, and I knew that. So yeah, I just want to say that. So that's how tight and close they were. She spent more time with her than I did. So when we get ready to go, we got to the floor. I told her to read the text message that my sister sent. So she read the text message, said that we just lost my mom. So she handed me the phone, and she ran down the hallway. My mom was at the end of the hallway. So she ran down there. So I know that was devastating to her. So I go there, and my mom was still ticking. And I was like, what's going on? But my sister explained to me that they had to revive her several times. And this story hit me. I hear this a lot from a lot of people where the doctor, they resuscitated him. They gave him that shock with the defibrillator. It was like the third time, and it was causing damage into her lungs. And the doctor was like, y'all don't understand how devastating this is when you have to do that to a person. And we've done it 3 times. And he said, if it was my mom, I wouldn't do it again. It's causing so much damage. And as I tell this story, a lot of people tell me the same thing, how their dads and their moms were in that same situation where it was causing so much pain and stuff to try to keep that heart going that was just destroying their body. And you had to make that choice of saying, hey, I gotta let it go. So that's where we were. So I made it to the room. My sister's there, niece, nephew. We were there, and the doctor was, but a nurse. I used to like those other nurses that was with my mom, but that particular nurse, so that was her first time working with my mom. These other ladies, like, they love my mom, but this nurse, I don't want to badmouth her, but it's kind of like she was distant because she hadn't spent the whole week with her, and I could tell it's a difference between when a nurse spends some time with the patient, and then when the person just comes in, it was just another person. That's how I felt. I don't want to badmouth, but that's how I felt with this nurse. And what the nurse said, and explained to us, we could see the heartbeat on the monitor, and they said when the heartbeat stops, that's it. They're not going to revive her. And that I don't know how many minutes that, and I'm trying to get. I thought I was going to be strong enough to pray at the time. I wasn't. I fell apart. But I reached out to a couple of ministers. I think I didn't prepare for that. That's one thing I was saying. I didn't prepare for that time. I didn't call anybody. I wasn't telling anybody. So a lot of people didn't know what was happening at the time. But then it got closer and closer. Now I'm like desperate because I was like, right now I need somebody to pray with us. And I'm just like, can't even really dial phone numbers. And I reached Minister Curleen. I called her. I said, please, can you pray? I thought I was going to pray. I can't pray. I can't even, So she prayed. But before I called Pastor before that, I didn't get an answer. Then I was trying to find somebody else real quick. So I called her. She prayed. And then right around that same time, that's when my mom's last heartbeat So that's my first time being in a room with somebody having that last heartbeat and that last breath. So now, yeah, we're crying, but I keep trying my best, like just trying to put in memories. I'm trying to flood myself with memories instead of sadness. Trying to flood myself with memories or the knowledge that she's going to the Lord. This is a woman of God that loves God, so she's going to be with God, and she's not in pain. So I'm just reaching and grabbing and trying to put those thoughts in my mind. So that's that. Anyway, that's how I went. And now we don't know what to do next. Thank God we didn't know what to do because we hadn't been through that experience before. God has been good to our family. God is blessed. We haven't been losing family members that we have experience on knowing what to do. We didn't know. But the nurse, told my sister a couple of things, some of the next steps. And then I found out my son Chris, he wanted to come. But yes, I guess Sharice came a little bit later. And so I stayed up there until she got there, and then found out Chris wanted to come, and I was kind of like, it's too late. You can see her at the funeral or something. Not to be cold, but they was trying to say, yeah, we need to go ahead and remove her body. And I was like, oh, Chris coming. So like, no, y'all, you can wait. So it ended up, he was stuck in traffic, I believe, and it still took, almost an hour. It was after an hour after my mom passed before he got there. But I stayed on guard. I was like, nobody's coming to this room and getting my mama until Chris coming here. And I kept on watching, and I'm trying, I had the curtain kind of closed so people outside couldn't see inside. And I was able, so I had a whole lot, all this time that I had, spent with my mom. So I'm thanking God for all that extra time. You would think I would be afraid. I wasn't afraid. I know, my true spirit, soul of my mom wasn't there. I know that was the shell of her body, but I still was thankful for that another hour of just being there. And so it was some alone time with just me and her there. So I can say, I didn't know how that was gonna work out, but I just thank God for that. And then Chris showed up. I think we spent another 15 minutes, let him have 15 minutes with her. I played gospel music. So it's a somber time, but just still trying to be respectful. So then finally, I'm letting people know we ready to go. We have my sister-in-law in Brooks Rehab right next door. Okay, so we leaving my mom, so let's go and visit somebody that's in the hospital, with rehab next door, and try to boost her up. They want to bring her, make her sad, but we're going to go visit somebody else. So now I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to closing the curtain, get ready to go, and then here come the nurse. You got everything? She was like, I was like, no, everything good. She had nothing. That room, she couldn't take any belongings or anything. So it was nothing of hers left in the room. So I didn't, like I said, close the curtain, close the door. I'm walking away. All right, you ready to go? I'm like, yeah. You leave anything? Like, no, I want to make sure. Let's go back in there. Let's make sure you didn't leave anything. So then she opened the door and she slides the curtain all open and she just going all around the room. I'm like, so now I'm getting kind of agitated. So I done had peace and was leaving in peace. But now she's in like, I just feel like, kind of like a little bit disrespectful. Or like it's normal for her. There's no big deal. So it's like I said, that's the way I feel. That's the way I take it. Like, I'm gonna just slide the curtain on back and just walk around. I don't see anything over here by her and anything. Let me check. Like, I was like, okay. thank you. And, just me and Chris left. But that's, just the last thing just left that bad taste in my mouth, about the hospital. Other than that, the nurses and the doctors, oh man, I just can't thank them enough. I thank the doctor for explaining everything. I thank the nurses for their care. And some of the nurses actually took the time to explain everything, broke things down. And it was, explaining, like, especially when me and my nephew was up there. It was like, this medicine was for this, and this is for that, and this was happening. They were explaining and letting us know that, they had concern. So I'm really thankful for that. But like at the end, none of those nurses were there. It was just new nurse. But so anyway, but I still thank the staff for all they did, for my mom and all that time that we spent at the hospital. So that was it. So now we had to start the service process. But that was my experience at the hospital. Let me go over here. So yeah, that's it. So I know a lot of people got all different experiences. All the hospital ministry. I thank God for the people from the hospital ministry. But what I would like to do, I haven't did it yet. I would like to start going from time to time and visiting people in the hospital. I used to couldn't stand going to the hospital, but I spent so much time there this time. I think it's I don't know if it's gone, but it's kind of broken. So I don't mind now. I really look forward to going to visit people in the hospital. I think that helps a lot. That helped me a lot, seeing especially our ministry, Lady Lisa, other ministers and different people from the ministry coming out and visiting, and it meant so much. So now I want to return the favor. I want to do that for other people too, and just at least brighten their day. Okay, so yeah, we're getting to shift the subject. We're talking about grief and dealing with grief. So if anybody got any words of wisdom on helping people how to deal with grief, like I said, I've been away from going live, been away from telling stories and stuff, and I just wanted to address this story before I start talking about this other stuff, all this crazy stuff that's going on in the world. I got a lot of crazy. I got some video clips and different stories that I want to play and discuss and get different people's feedback. But I wanted to, talk about this one, and then, like I said, especially like talk about grief. I think I have a different or better understanding of it now. I think I can help people, like I said, especially if you're going through it. I'm still going through it still right now. But I think I still have a better way of dealing with it, and I'm willing to help people in the midst of it. Like I said, I look at it differently now. I feel about it differently now. I'm not mad at God. I don't think I would ever say, somebody slapped me if I would say I'm mad at God and got my fist up at God. I still thank God through the whole process. I thank God for my mom's life for every single day that He blessed her with. So I'm not going to say I'm mad. Some people, even other family members, say they're mad at God. God taking, no. I'm not getting mad at God. I'm going to continue to praise and thank God. But and like I said, I would like to take my learning, my experience, and be able to help out and reach others. Like I said, this is Mental Health Awareness Month. We're talking about men's mental health. A lot of men take a whole lot of stuff, hold a lot of stuff in, don't let stuff out. Even just not even a loss. They could be lost a friend, lost a loved one, went through a bad breakup, but even loss of a job, just all sorts of things, hard days at work. There's a whole lot of things that men go through, and we're taught to, you got to deal with it. Well, we man up. You got to man up and deal with the situation. So sometimes men still need help. Still a lot of this stuff, you take in all this stuff and it starts eating you out. I mean, killing you from the inside out. Especially stress. How many men have died from stress Uh-oh. I see my camera is missing. What happened to my camera? I'm sorry, y'all. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to call it a night. My camera just dropped off. Let's see. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna be able to bring it back. Okay, but yeah, I guess it's a podcast now. Yes, men's mental health. Help men, especially men that you know, with their mental health. And I gotta, let me see if I can bring that up real quick, and I'm gonna call it today. Just a second. This is talking about. There's one thing I did want to talk about real quick, but stages of grief. I'm gonna go that real quick, and we can call it a night. Different stages of grief, and there's no particular order. I got this picture about stages of grief. They got a straight line, then they got another squiggly line, all different directions. It's like somebody just went scribble. Yeah, there's no particular order, but they still have, like, maybe what doctors say. You have this stage 1 is denial. This can't be happening. Feeling of confusion, shock, fear, and numbness. Yep. They got stage 2, anger. Why is this happening? Feeling of frustration, irritation, and anxiety. Yep. Number 3, bargaining. I would do anything to change it. Struggling to find a meaning. That bargaining was before denial. I was doing some bargaining for some weeks. Even seeing my mom in that situation, I felt like my body was stronger than her body. Like, is it just real? I knew this, it wasn't possible to happen. But I was thinking, like, man, if I can that be me? Can I change and let her get up and let me go through this? All these different thoughts go through your mind, especially if you love, that's your loved one. Number 4, depression. What's the point of continuing on? Feeling overwhelmed with sadness and helplessness. Yeah, it does give you that feeling of helplessness when you're praying, where you're trying to do everything that you can do, and then you get to the point where it's nothing. There's nothing else that you can possibly do, or the best thing that you can do is pray. And then after you finish praying, that person still passes away. You just feel so helpless, like you're floating in space. Like, what's the point? I can't do anything. But I decided, instead of floating in space, I decided to still hold on and trust in God. And then number 5, acceptance. It's going to be okay. Learning to live with the situation, growing to evolve. So I accepted that my mom has passed away. We had our services. I accepted the fact that she's in my memory, but I have a plan on doing whatever I can to help keep her memory alive, instead of continuing to listen to different stories of the different lives and different people that she has reached. So I would like to help other people also, the people who's gone through this situation. I know it's gonna be different people who listen to this video that's going through, they went through it and still dealing with it, or haven't gone through it yet, so they can watch this video at a later date, or if they watch and then they might understand later on. So now I'm an advocate. I want to be able to help people that's going through the time of loss. And like I said, when I'm on the prayer line every week, we have a call-in prayer line where anybody can call in and give a prayer request. So, no matter what. So anybody, you don't have to be a member of the church. You can call in and put a prayer line in. And we also invite you to come in and join in with the prayer. Join in the prayer. Pray for other people. That's what we're here to do. Pray for other people. But yeah, as people lose loved ones, I have a special I can feel it. You know, when they say they lost their mother, when they say they lost their father, when they say they lost love, I have this something I can relate with them now when we're praying. So when I'm praying, I have a different prayer because I have this pain. I know I felt the pain. It might not be that particular person that lost, but I felt the pain of extreme loss. I lost, like I said, lost my mother. I lost my son. I've lost other family members. Lost all my grandparents and other aunts and uncles. So I've been through this time of loss. So I have a different prayer when I pray for them. So I thank you all for your time. I've gone over. So I think we're going to touch this subject again. I apologize for my camera going out. Thank y'all for your comments. Hey, Miss Rhonda, thank you for coming up from Orlando to spend time with us. Thank you, Miss Teresa. Thank you, South Georgia, for representing. Pastor Sidney, thank you all, and whoever else chiming in. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for your prayers. I thank y'all for your support. And what I say, if anything I can do to help you, let me know. But I'm serious. But yes, anybody need to talk in the future, like to talk to me about anything, get with me. Okay. Thank y'all again for joining me. I'm gonna probably make an episode of this video and put it on our TV channel, Purpose Inspired TV. Purpose Inspired TV is located on Fire TV and Roku. All you have to do is go to Roku, Fire TV, type in or say in the search, Purpose Inspired TV, and start watching. That will support us, help us with the channel just by watching it and sharing it to other people. Do you have any content creators that would like to be on TV, on Roku or Fire TV? Let us know. We need that support. Anybody want to even donate to the channel to help the channel keep going, donations are welcome. So you can even watch us online. Our website is watchpurposeinspiredtv.com. That's our website. You can switch over and go watch it live, or you can go to Roku and Fire TV. That being said, I thank you for tuning in. And if any other subject that you think that I should go back and talk about, let me know. And I'm gonna play this first commercial. I'm not gonna play the whole commercial, but a short one. Is Donate Life. We work. Purpose Inspired TV partners with Donate Life. I don't know if this video gonna work. I see. But Donate Life has a campaign now to educate, especially people of color, that if you donate your organs, they're not going to kill you to get your organs. There's a lot of people of color that need organs, but at the same time, a lot of people of color are afraid to be donors because they think somebody's going to steal their organs, kill them to take their organs. That's not true. But Donate Life, they might even help save your life if you or your family member donates organs, be the organ donor. That might even help save your life or help save one of your loved ones. But if we keep on using the organs and don't put organs back in, one day we might have a situation, or you'll be sitting on a waiting list a long time because we're afraid to donate. We want to use organs, but we're afraid to donate. But anyway, just want to throw that out there. But we have a lot of different nonprofit organizations that we are partnering with and do different things with. So again, if you know an organization that would benefit from being on Roku, Fire TV, let us know. We are out to help as many people as we possibly can. All right. Everybody be blessed. Thank you for tuning in. You've been listening and watching from the Mind Mojo on Purpose Inspired TV. Everybody, God bless. Right there.
Purpose Inspired TV is under construction. During this process, we invite you to step into the journey. By joining our team, you have the chance to shape the very fabric of this channel with your creative ideas and skills. We believe that the true essence of innovation lies in collaboration, and together, we can create something truly extraordinary. We will provide content that ignites your passion, inspires personal growth, and encourages a positive impact on society. Our focus is on delivering shows that are entertaining, thought-provoking, educational, and uplifting. We want to hear your voice, your vision, and your recommendations for individuals you would love to see on our channel. We aim to create a channel that resonates deeply with viewers, challenging them to think bigger, dream bolder, and live a life of purpose. So, join us today, and together, we can make a difference, one viewer, one show, and one purpose at a time.